Hi all, it's the 13th of October 2022. How are you all doing? That is good to hear. Today we're taking a look at some volcanoes with our volcano update. The first is Volcan Chillan in Chile. Volcan Chillan is one of the Nevados de Chillan. It's one of the most active complexes of volcanoes in the central Andes. And there are three nested Pleistocene calderas within the Nevados. The one we're going to look at is Volcan Chillan. And the reason is because of this Sentinel-2 image, which shows the volcano with dark bands coming out from the summit in various different directions. Now, these are deposits of ash from eruptions, and they're coming out of different directions because they happened at different times under different weather conditions when the winds were blowing in different directions. So I want to identify when these eruptions occurred and how these deposits formed. This image was taken on the 10th of October, with the bands coming out. If we go back a couple of images, that one's cloudy, but this one on the 5th of October, it looks like there aren't any of these bands aren't present. So most probably, or maybe definitely, the eruptions occurred within the last 5 days before the 10th of October. There is a slight possibility that snowmelt might have revealed a previous eruption, in which case it happened earlier. But let's assume it's within those 5 days. So we've got to give up on Sentinel-2 because that only gives a bit of output every few days or so. We got to go for the geostationary satellites. Particularly GOES 16 looks down on South America. This is the one. So we zoom in to the area of the Chillan, Volcan Chillan. And it's helpful to put on the cities because then we can see where we are. And we should be able to see actually the city of Chillan is actually in there, and Volcan Chillan is in here. Using the archive feature on RamMB Slider, we can go back in time and see the eruptions perhaps. In fact, I've got the first one. I think this is, or rather the most recent one before that Sentinel-2 imagery, on the 9th of October. Using the ash product, we can see a plume going off towards the northwest, and you can see it just at sunset on the visible one, and then we're using one of the shortwave bands. You can actually see the heat signature. We can combine the visible with the heat signature, and then you can see the red of the volcanic eruption. And then we can also look at some of the, what have we got here? Split window. And this is kind of nice because it reveals the dust signature in bright pink. So what we've got here is we've identified the eruption that caused ash to drop on the snow towards the northwest of the volcano. So we got one of them. But what about these other two? They should be within that time period of 5th to 10th of October, unless it's due to snowmelt. So let's take a look at the day before. Our first eruption was on the 9th of October, the first one we found. We have to go further back in time to check the previous days. And sure enough, if we look at the dust debris product, this shows the ash from the volcano in yellow, and you see that plume shooting off towards the northeast on the 8th of October. We can also see it just briefly in the heat signatures coming in. It was also visible in the geocolor. Again, it's a sunset eruption, and you just see the plume being picked out in the geocolor. But of course, we want to look at our split window to see it in a nice orange. This is a slightly different split window. So this is great. We've identified the eruption that caused the plume off to the northwest, and also the eruption that caused the plume off to the northeast, and these ash deposits related to those eruptions. And we've got this other one off towards the east. Now what about that one? Well, I'm gonna leave that up to you because I've had a look and I can't find anything. So it'll be over to you for that. And good luck with that. I will see you in the next one.